Welcome back to another episode of All Aboard the J Train, the Jaylon Glover podcast. I am your host, Cole Bagley, and the publisher of the Fan Nation Utes website. I am joined by, of course, Pac-12 champion Jaylon Glover. Jaylon, how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Nice to see you, Cole. It feels good, man. It feels great. Great to be a Pac-12 champion, and I'm excited for this Rose Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, let's jump right into that. I mean, I kind of want to get your first reaction before we talk about the game, but Utes are headed back to the Rose Bowl, which is crazy because, a few weeks ago, we're kind of sitting in a situation going, okay, you guys are blowing Colorado out. It doesn't seem, though, like that's going to matter because, Oregon was in a situation where they're up 20, I think it was 28-10 over Oregon State. It kind of seems like, all right, well, looks like Utah's maybe headed to the Las Vegas Bowl or the Alamo Bowl or something like that. But then the football gods kind of smile on the Utes. You guys do what you need to do to get there. A couple other things fall into place. Suddenly you find yourself in a Pac-12 championship. You guys win that. Like I said, we'll talk about that more in a minute. And now you're headed to a Rose Bowl. What's that feel like?
It just makes you feel like all the work you put in from January up to this point, means something. And you can just see how hungry the guys were and never lose faith. And, this team is just really resilient. And that's just the guys that Utah recruits. And, it was kind of funny to hear the matchup NIL versus development. And I think it's true, man. You get a group of guys that come in and get all in and, are hungry to win and want to fight for their brothers. I mean, it's going to be hard to beat that. And I feel like we just continue to show that. And that's what helped us get to where we are now and get ready to play at the Rose Bowl on January 2nd.
Yeah, I loved Dalton Kincaid. I think his Instagram post or his tweet, he said, "Money can't buy a ring."
Yeah.
Which is true. I mean, there's a lot to be said about how NIL is changing the college football landscape, but how the Utah football program hasn't been heavily impacted by that, and it is a lot more. To me, at least, it seems that Utah football is one of the closest teams in the country. Just a true brotherhood. You guys are not out for yourselves as individuals, but you guys have a team mindset, team goals. As your primary focus, as opposed to some of these other programs that it is more about money or it is more about themselves. And I think that's something that's special, and hopefully it's something that can continue to produce results. And I think it will. So like we just talked about, headed to the Rose Bowl. As a freshman, you're not someone that's experienced that before. What are some things that maybe you've heard from some of the upperclassmen that were there last year?
Yeah, they majority of the time they talk a lot about just the activities that were going on throughout the week. Be able to go to UCLA and be able to play at a Rose Bowl, got the feel of the stadium early on, so I got the feel of it. I know it's going to be different, especially with opposing teams, fans, and then our fans traveling up as well. But guys are saying exciting, and especially talking to the guys that are going to move on after this year and go to the NFL, be able to play in the Rose Bowl, make it want to stay to play in a bowl game. So I can see how important and how fun and how good the atmosphere is going to be. And I could just imagine just the feeling of when we get in between those lines. And a lot of it, like I hear all the time, it's the granddaddy of them all when it comes to the bowl game. So, it's gonna have a good feeling, especially have that rose on the jersey. When you take it on the field, it's gonna be pretty dope.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be there last year covering the team. And, as unfortunate as the outcome was to see, Utah lose by such a close margin, especially after leading, it was one of it might be the most exciting and enjoyable sporting event that I've ever been to in my life. And Utah lost. That's saying something, to watch, a team that I cover, my alma mater, lose a game and still say, hey, that was probably one of the most enjoyable experiences. I think just kind of goes to show just what an amazing experience, amazing venue the Rose Bowl really is at its peak when it is the Rose Bowl game. You know, like you said, the granddaddy of them all. There's kind of a special magic behind it. You know, I mean, I was looking through some old photos today, some old videos, and man, when Utah took the field last year, I have never heard a stadium erupt the way that the Rose Bowl did. I mean, Utah fans just showed out in droves. They were excited, and I think the majority of them would also say that, hey, you know, even though Utah lost, it was still a really fun experience. So, one that I'm looking forward to, I'm sure that you are as well. Just initial reaction. What do you know about your opponent? You know, what are you looking forward to about facing Penn State? You know, what things maybe stand out about that program, just initially?
Yeah, initially, I mean, growing up, you always see Penn State being a powerhouse and always holding their own in the Big Ten. So, especially always see him in the top 25 every year. And one of my hometown friends, Zane Durant, actually played defensive tackle over there. And, I know they're a good program. Haven't really watched a bunch of film on them. Seen them in the year. But, they're physical. I see they're going to fly around. And, they're not number 11 team in the nation for no reason. So, we're going to prepare more as we go along. But initially, from what I see, they're going to be a great program. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Similar to you, I haven't watched very much Penn State. You know, I've seen a couple highlights here and there, looked over their record this season. They only lost 2 games, which was to, Michigan and Ohio State. It is notable. They did get blown out in those games. I think they were outscored something like 85-47, I want to say, between those two matchups. So clearly there is some space between Penn State and, and the top 2 teams. However, those top 2 teams, Michigan and Ohio State, are both headed to the college football playoffs. So Penn State, obviously a good team. They've always been a good program. And I think they've kind of reached, they've gotten back to that high level of football that they've been known for historically. So it should be a good matchup. Interesting to see how many Penn State fans show up to that game. From what I've heard, Penn State travels pretty well, but it's, almost opposite side of the country. Whereas for Utah fans, it's just a day's drive. So I expect a lot of Utah fans, especially with the fact that you guys are the designated home team.
Right.
So you guys will have that advantage. You'll get to pick what uniforms you wear, which will be interesting. Personally, they are gorgeous, but I don't want to see the same uniforms that were worn a year ago. Utah's 1-3 in those. I don't know that we want to bring that kind of a uniform record back into a game that, desperately I think you guys want to win. So we'll see what you guys end up wearing, but I'm sure it'll look good. Anything else, Jaylon, that you're kind of looking forward to in terms of Pasadena, the Rose Bowl? Is Stanley going to be in attendance?
Bob may be in attendance. He was telling me about it when he was just waiting for the schedule and everything to drop. So Stanley might be in attendance. I'm excited. What the guys select we wear for the Rose Bowl, especially knowing that we will be home. I feel like we can spice it up a little bit. So I'm excited to see what's going on. But other than that, man, I'm just ready for the ride, man. Just go day by day. I've just been enjoying the whole hurrah, and it just feels like time's just flying. I just feel like I got here in January. We play our last game in January, so it's crazy to think about it. But I'm so excited. I'm glad to be a Ute, man. So glad to be a Ute.
Good. It's good to hear that. Just kind of a quick question, just off the top of your head. Is there a uniform combination that you're hoping to wear in Pasadena? You guys are the home team, so you can wear red if you guys decide to.
Yeah, combination wise, I would be excited to see if we can pull off some like all red or like all red with the white tops or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty dope. That'll be pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, you guys looked good in the Pac-12 Championship. Great combination. I love those helmets. Just that cherry red, that gloss. Oh, it looks so. Like I've seen some people talking of like, hey, let's go all red and then maybe we've got some chrome roses on those cherry helmets. That could look pretty. That could
Nah,
look pretty good.
that'd be pretty dope. Not gonna lie.
So it'll be interesting to see what you guys wear. But moving on from the Rose Bowl, it's obviously far away, a month, which is crazy. I remember waiting for it last year. It felt like we had to wait. It felt like an entire off season between Pac-12 championship and Rose Bowl. But the anticipation makes it, I think a lot more fun because you're like, man, I've been waiting for this for almost a month now. So should be a good game January 2nd. But Jaylon, wanted to talk about the Pac-12 championship just from your perspective, what that was like. I guess, yeah, just initially tell me what it was like to be in Las Vegas, to play, to be at Allegiant, and to face USC for a second time.
No, it was huge. Just the environment in its own. Being in Las Vegas, you can kind of tell everybody wasn't all focused on the football game. Like some people in the elevator in our hotel, some people knew about the game, and some people asked if we were some soccer team in town. So it was pretty. But on that Thursday when we got in, coach got a bus to let some of the newcomers or the new guys come in that didn't get to see it last year go see the stadium, and I mean it was a surreal moment for me. I mean, walking there gave me chills, and to see that is just it gives you such more of a purpose to go out and win this game. To know how much is at stake. How the odds were against us, and for us to go out there and win that thing. I mean, I just never lost faith. Guys, they locked in, strapped up, and knew like those guys across the way don't want to strap up 4 quarters and get hit in the mouth. And we imposed our will, man, and just seeing the guys, go to war, and all of us excited on the sidelines, cheering each other on. It was great. It was great being out there, man, and the atmosphere was second to none. And I enjoyed it, and I just look forward to keep going back, man. Keep going back.
Yeah, I was I bumped into some people in the Utah communications department over the football team. I said, let's make this a yearly tradition. Let's meet in Las Vegas in the first weekend of December every year because it's a lot of fun.
Right.
So an interesting game. You guys go down 14-3, and against a very dangerous and deadly USC offense. Kind of the feel in the stadium was, okay, what are we in for? What was the kind of the mentality on the sidelines? Because I don't know if you know this, Jim, but you guys recorded the biggest comeback in Pac-12 championship history after trailing by the amount of points that you did to start the game. It's not an easy thing to do. What was the mentality on the sidelines?
I mean, as we go, we continue to talk about this all the time. Like the guys on the team are just, excellent leaders. The guys that we have here are just so poised, and they've been in so much adverse situation, been through so much adversity as a team. Like, being down, 14-3 or 21, being down at half doesn't phase those guys and the guys that's been here because they've been through so much and they understand that faith and with will and with preparation, it's hard to not continue to be on top when you prepare the way you're supposed to. And as Coach Ludd says, he always tells us to be a fist, and he always tells us adversity is going to happen, and it's just all about how we respond. And I think the guys on this team respond the best, compared to the best in the nation. And I think they proved that this past Friday.
For sure. That's something that Coach Witt talked about in the post-game press conference is, the U is known, like the Utah's identity a lot of times is physicality, but the narrative should change to that. While you guys still are about physicality, you guys are also very tough mentally, and you have to be. I mean, like I said, kind of the feeling in the stadium and some of fans' reactions on Twitter is they felt like it was over. You guys are trailing 17-3, I believe was the score. Thanks to a solid pass breakup by Clark Phillips, it wasn't more. But that's tough to be in, and you have to stay mentally tough because there's football teams that don't, right? I mean, there's games where, if a certain team gives up an early lead, it's done by the end of the first quarter and they don't come back. I mean, look at the Pac-12 championship last year. Utah goes up early on Oregon. They were broken after that first quarter, and Utah runs away with it. And that could have been you guys, but you stayed mentally tough. You rallied back. Tell me, what kind of a leader is Cam Rising? Because that dude showed a lot in that game, and he was asked about it. He said, we had a game plan. We had the guys that we needed to get the job done. He used an interesting phrase. He said, just kind of had to get their piss boiling a little bit before you guys would really lock in. What kind of a leader is Cam Rising, and what did he do that helped keep you guys in it mentally and go and get the job done?
Yeah, just seeing him come back to the sideline after the drive, we weren't able to score on. Like, the one memory that comes out to me the most is when JD had caught the slant and made a great catch, and then the ball came out. And, first thing Cam does to the sideline, like he has the headset on and he comes to JD. He was like, hey, I still need you. I still need you to make plays. And Cam just is a guy that's just going to lead by example. And he's just an ultimate competitor. And I just think that's what helped him be a great leader, just because of the fact that he wants to compete. And, it just rubs off on everybody on the team. And I just think that's just really big and unique because, Cam is vocal, and he might not, but and again he might not talk. He might say very few words, but those words that he says gonna matter, and it just rubs off onto the offense as well as on the defense, and it compliments. And it was just a great opportunity to play with him, and I was just so glad to see him come on top with the victory because we needed it, and right guy to be in front to lead the way.
Seems to be one of Cam's strong points is just his ability to lead. I think you guys would, run through a brick wall for that guy. I don't know if there's a single player on the team that wouldn't do whatever Cam asked them to. So obviously, a lot of value in that for your quarterback to be such a team first guy rather than going and yelling at JD after that play. He said, "Hey, keep your head in it. I need you." And he did. I think after that, JD had a touchdown, a big touchdown towards the end of the first half. So, it's awesome to hear things like that. I want to get your perspective on how was the run game able to be so effective against the Trojans the second time? Because the first time, as long as my numbers are correct, which I'm no mathematician, but I'm pretty certain that the first time against USC, you guys had 138 yards on the ground, season low. The second time, you guys go for, I believe, over 200. I think you were at 223 and a whole bunch of touchdowns on the ground from long distance. What was the difference the second time as opposed to the first?
First it's gonna just start off with O-Block. Those guys came in with a different determination, and the gaps that that I believe the guys could have made all season. It just became throughout the season. It became more trust. We trust them more, and those guys just been dogs, and they just been winning at the point of attack and attacking. And we're gonna be physical, and that's the biggest thing. We want to be nasty, and those guys up front has been real nasty, and it showed on Friday. And those seams holes were there, and those backs, JJ and Makai, they had a night, man, and it was great to see. It was great to see, and everybody was happy. I see the offensive line just had a different, just a different pep in the step, and it was just great to see. And it's been working, and we've been practicing all season to try to get it right, and I'm glad it's finally coming to fruition.
You guys obviously come out on top by a pretty big margin. Do you feel like you just wanted it more than them? Because I feel like, excluding the first quarter, the rest of that football game, you guys just seem to have more drive. And plays that come to mind are pretty much every single touchdown after that. Money bouncing off a couple tackles on a 3rd and 19 goes for, I believe, almost 60 yards, scores a touchdown. Thomas Yasmin, catches the ball around the 20 or 30 yard line, just bodies a defender and drags him in. And then Jaquindon's run, I think he dragged a defender 5 or 6 yards and extends into the end zone. And not to mention that hit that Cam took, where his helmet pops off. He gets up with a big smile on his face, comes back a play later, and you guys go and score a touchdown not too long after that. Did you guys just want it more?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a lot of us. We, especially be on the team that Coach Will was talking about. We look at the underdog, and I just feel like we play better under pressure, showing that in the second half we just were dominant. We like pressure. I think we strive on it the most, and I know it probably makes you guys feel so uneasy being a fan and watching it go down. But it just make it just you can just see it in practice when we go in 2 minutes, and when the pressure is on us, we're so poised and we just so ready to go, man. And I just think that just comes with, like I tell you, the leaders on this team and from the coaching staff and to what they preaching to us. It's just everything that we go throughout the week just goes out and shows on the game. Just really appreciate that, to know what you do in practice matter.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can just see it. Like I said, those plays come to mind. There's some, defensive plays that were made by, Sione Vaki, some of the defensive line. It just seemed that, you guys broke the spirits of USC and you didn't look back. There was no mercy. And that's, hey, if you want to hoist a trophy, that's the way that you got to play. So much fun to see those plays. And, the one that I mean, each of those, especially Yasmin and then Jaquindon's, touchdown, takes his helmet off at the end of the play. what was it like to see him cross the goal line there, and what was kind of going on the sidelines? Because there was a penalty enforced after that, but to be honest, I think it was totally worth it.
Nah, everybody was excited, man. It's just like the seal deal. And you could just see it on the emotion on his face and just on the sideline. We knew we had the victory, man, and we just know how hard we worked all season. And so just to see, from us not feeling like we had a chance to coming out and winning the Pac-12 championship, with some comfort with that too. It was a great feeling and great to celebrate with the teammates in the locker room, because you just remember all those blood, sweat, and tears from January up to this point, and you appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, kind of wrapping up here, like you said, at that moment when Jaquindon scored, and you guys obviously scored again, I believe Mackay gets into the end zone after that, but you guys knew pretty well in advance that you had it. And then, of course, the clock runs out, the confetti starts coming down. What does that feel like? How would you explain that experience to the fans as a player? What does it feel like to have accomplished something that you guys had set out to do? You defend your title. You show that the Pac-12 still runs through Salt Lake City, no matter what happened during before. None of those losses matter anymore at this point. What does it feel like when that confetti starts coming down and you guys start gathering to receive the Pac-12 trophy?
Yeah, like I was saying, those from January up to this point, you nothing feels like it was for granted. And then you have, the fans, in the stands that scream your name, and, they're so excited, for the victory as well. It just gives you another reason to, on top of why you do what you do, because you love it, but you have the fans to back you, and then the organization as well. It's a man, and it's something that you'll never forget. And those memories gonna last forever. And it's just, that's why you come to Utah, to get those memories and enjoy it with your brothers and, compete. And we want to continue to compete for championships, and we want to get in that college football playoff.
It certainly seems to kind of be the next step for this program, especially if you guys are able to go out and win this Rose Bowl. What do you feel like it's going to take, to really take that next step? And you guys are currently, I believe, ranked 8th, highest ranked Pac-12 team in the college, according to the College Football Committee. What's it going to take? You're young, Jaylon. You got plenty of time ahead of you. You're currently of this freshman class. What's it going to take for you guys to finally get to that college football playoff?
Need to continue to keep the culture, and us new guys are got to embark some of our own swag into the program. That's why they bring us here. But just stay with the culture because this culture works. Seeing guys rally together and want to win together, and you don't want to ever lose that. But I just feel like we continue to do that, man, and just continue to get better, and our young guys get more wiser. I think we're gonna be a force to reckon with. Utah doing a great job in recruiting. I think we're gonna be a beast for a while, man. And it's just we're gonna be a secret gem, and I think we're gonna start to continue to wake the country up because it's a lot of things growing over here, and I'm excited to see how far we can go. But I feel like we're right on track, man. Just like you were saying, we're getting higher and higher in the rankings, and it's putting us in better positions to be able to get there. So we continue to win, and I think we can accomplish whatever we want to.
Man, there's a lot of good things to hear coming out of that. I mean, this season was another little bit of a roller coaster. There were times where it seemed like, all right, there's not going to be an opportunity to defend that title. There's also been times, in terms of recruiting where some guys have decommitted, but, you guys have just powered through the adversity, taking care of business when it really mattered. And, now you're headed, it's coming up roses, right? You're heading back to Pasadena. So just kind of my last, last question, kind of a two-part here. How much value has it been to you as a freshman to go through this year? With all its ups and downs as a team, personally, and then to reach the Pac-12 championship, raise that trophy, and now headed to Pasadena. How much value has it been for you? And then kind of that second part, why earlier you said I'm so glad, I'm so grateful to be at Utah. Can you kind of expound on why that is?
Yeah, I feel like coming out here, I've been able to grow so much farther than what I can ever could ever imagine. Just coming out here just made me understand so much when it comes to just outside of football, but most importantly when it came to football is just trusting the process, and then seeing just how these guys rally together and how much of a brotherhood it is. It just makes you want to be here because you could just see all the emotion on TV, being recruited, not being here, seeing us win, seeing the emotions. Like, it just makes, like, as the years to come into the younger guys that come in, like the stories I can tell and, the leader I can be because of the great leaders I had in front of me. This whole season has just been a big learning experience for me, man. I just got to learn, experience so much, go around the country places I've never been before. So it's been a great learning experience, man. And I just know as the season come on and as the seasons go, at my career at Utah, I'm going to continue to be hungry and, always want to strive because I just feel like that's the mentality here. And, I just want to leave my mark on the program. I really want to go get us a chance to go compete for a national championship. So just to continue to grind, man. And I just feel like this year has been a great year for me to learn. And I'm excited to see, where this journey goes.
Well, Jaylon, I don't think you could have said it any better. It's been so much fun to watch you out there, to show, what you're capable of. I know the future's bright, especially with, this freshman class, the guys that are a part of it, Leonard Barton, Sione Vaki, yourself, Justin Medlock, Teo Johnson, Nate Johnson, and the list just goes on. So it'll be fun to see what lies ahead. Not just the Rose Bowl, but, seasons looking ahead to, next year and the year after and however long, you guys are here at Utah. So, Jaylon, appreciate you jumping on today. It was a lot of fun to hear your perspective. I hope you had a great time. Congratulations on becoming a Pac-12 champion. Many more, hopefully, in store for you. If you guys want to catch more from Jaylon, you can check out his exclusive podcast at Fan Nation all Utes, all aboard the J train. We're also available on YouTube as well. If you guys want to support Jaylon and his NIL apparel collection, you can go to allutefans.com, check out Jaylon. We will have some very, very nice Rose Bowl additions coming to the website very soon over the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for that. And go to the Rose Bowl. If you have a chance, go to the Rose Bowl. It is a magnificent venue. Jaylon will be there, of course. Hopefully we get to see you, out there doing what you do best. Jaylon, like I said, thanks so much, man.
All right, man. Thank you so much. You guys come out of Pasadena. Can't wait to see you guys on January 2nd. Thank you so much, Cole, and I'll see you later, my guy.
Sounds good, dude.